You ever get that feeling like something in the universe is just pushing you, forcing you to look at a hard truth you've been trying your best to ignore? Well, today, we're diving into a really powerful philosophical idea, the daemon of truth. Now, I want you to picture a being that isn't some monster of chaos, but an agent of absolute relentless clarity, a cosmic judge in a trial for your very soul. So let's take a journey together into the philosophical underworld this demon governs and see how it tests the true weight of our being. The idea here is that we spend a huge chunk of our lives building up these defenses against reality, right? We spin these comforting little lies to get by. But the demon, its purpose is to act as a kind of tax collector for the soul. Its job isn't to bring ruin, not really. It's to strip away all the falsehoods that are holding us back, the things preventing our growth. Just like it says here, those fragile illusions we cling to, they're a luxury, and the daemon has come to collect. So, what is this judge of the void? Let's break it down. In this first part, we're going to get into its function, its place in the whole cosmic system. And you got to understand, this isn't some random force of evil. It's a necessary power that exists to challenge stagnation and, to push us to finally evolve. Okay, so this whole philosophy hangs on this incredible concept called the invisible architecture of convergence. The idea is that the universe isn't just random chaos. No, it has this underlying framework, this structure that's designed to push us, sometimes pretty harshly, towards our own necessary evolution. It doesn't write our story for us, but it will keep narrowing the doors and widening the silences until we have no choice but to make a real, genuine decision. And the daemon, it's simply the instrument of that architecture. This slide right here, this really gets to the heart of it. It clarifies the demon's real target. Its enemy isn't us. It's what's called the architecture of stagnation, that comfortable, gilded cage we build for ourselves. You can see the contrast so clearly. Convergence forces a genuine decision, but stagnation, it just encourages the dim safety of survival. The demon's whole purpose is to show up with the cold, industrial weight of the truth and shatter that cage. Sooner or later, when a soul gets trapped in that stagnation for too long, the high judge of the void is summoned. Its entire reason for being is to administer one single test, to measure the substance, the resilience, the very weight of that soul. So how does a trial like this even work? Well, it doesn't happen in some fiery pit or distant hellscape. It happens right inside the person being tested. The daemon casts the soul into a landscape that's designed to be a perfect, absolutely unforgiving mirror of their own inner self. As it says right here, the destination isn't some place you can find on a map. It's a psychological underworld. It's a deep, deep dive into the architecture of your own mind, your history, and every single one of your secrets. And this setting has a name, the uncanny valley. It's a liminal space, a place caught between moments where the normal rules of reality just don't apply. It's where time itself, as the text says, seems to catch its breath, just waiting to see what choice is about to be made. So, how does this space actually make the test possible? Well, the daemon sets up some very specific conditions. It creates a loosening of reality, a pause in the normal chain of cause and effect. And into that sudden quiet, it summons physical manifestations of our repressed traumas, our deepest fears, forcing a head-on collision with what's called the original catastrophe, that one core wound or event that has defined us. And what is the point of all this, of this terrifying landscape, walking among these stone trees of your own internal decay? It's to create an environment that's completely stripped of every external excuse, every distraction. Because it's only here, under these incredibly intense conditions, that a person can finally be granted absolute, unburdened free will and make a truly genuine choice. All right, the stage is set. The journey inward has led us to the final crucible. As we're about to see, the soul weight test is about to begin. And this brings us to the heart of it all, a subterranean temple made of stark, black volcanic glass, a place that reflects everything about you and absorbs all light. You can just imagine from this image, there is absolutely nowhere left to hide. The test itself is known as the agony of 10,000 hells, and it's a three-step process of pure revelation. First, the ego, that whole construct we call I, is systematically taken apart, piece by piece. Second, the self is exposed for what it is, just a brief, static disturbance in the universe. And finally, every single lie you have ever told yourself is ruthlessly burned to ash. So once a soul is laid completely bare, raw, honest, and totally defenseless, the daemon offers a way out. It's called the Crimson Gift, and it's presented as the simple, elegant solution to all the pain of existence, the logic of zero. And this lays out that final, stark choice. On one side, you have the logic of zero, a final, peaceful homecoming into silence, into non-being. On the other side, the burden of being, the sickness of identity, the constant fire of existence. The daemon is basically making a wager that when faced with this unvarnished truth, most souls will choose the sweet surrender of the void. But sometimes, something completely unexpected happens. The soul, stripped bare, staring into oblivion, it doesn't surrender. It gives an answer. Right at that final moment, in what's called the choice of the hourglass, the traveler looks at the peaceful void being offered and says no. They reject it. Instead of choosing to erase their pain, they choose to fully own their original catastrophe, transforming it from a source of shame into the very source of their strength. And the result of that choice is something called a sovereign triumph. The traveler takes the exact same fire that was used to dismantle them and transforms it into the creative fire of becoming. It's this profound act of defiance that, just as the slide says, literally carves a name into the silence of eternity. And the consequences of this refusal? They're huge. Fate itself, the 5 fingers of memory, hunger, fear, love, and the ending, is forced to adjust. It has to learn the unique shape of that soul's defiance. In that one single moment of saying yes to life, human agency proves to be more brilliant than the cold, logical perfection of the abyss. And it proves a fundamental truth. Nothing truly dies where one chooses to grow. And with that choice, the trial is over. The psychological underworld just dissolves. What's left behind isn't a scar, but a quiet strength. It's a journey concluded. It's a soft release that empowers the traveler to move forward, not with fear, but with a new, steady kind of comfort. So in the end, you see, the purpose of the daemon of truth isn't really to destroy. It's to test and to reveal. The architecture of the universe, in this way of thinking, demands that we grow, and the daemon is simply the catalyst. So we're left with one final question to ask ourselves. When our own illusions finally fall away, when we're forced to confront our deepest, most honest truths, what will be the weight of our soul?